Hello, and welcome back to an all-new episode of the new and improved long-distance Situationship. I'm your host, Michael, joined as always by my good friends, Dan.
What's up?
And Hot Kyle.
Yes! What's up, everybody? We're on video now.
Woo!
And long distance situationship is back from the dead. Should it have stayed buried? Only time will tell. But something's about to go down, and I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, so this show is this is the rebirthed brainchild of Kyle and myself. We did about 6 episodes, a year or so, maybe a little more back.
A little more, yeah.
And I don't fully know how best to describe what that was. I have since scrubbed it off the internet, so unless somebody had one of the 12 people who listened had the forethought to bank that, I think it's gone forever. But I think what we're gonna do,
it was basically like live recorded therapy sessions where me and Mike just opened up and just talked about everything that was weighing on us, the good, the bad, and the very ugly. and then just posted it, and we're like, here it is. If you want to see it, this is us.
Yeah.
6 hours of trauma dumping and joy.
Literally,
more or less, yeah.
It's I was coming off of feeling like I'd failed in my movie career, and Mike was in this divorce, and we're just we're just puking all this TMI into the mics. It was, people are out there that know a lot about us. There's probably people that would surprise us that know way too much about what we were going through.
Yeah, we put out the
but
first
here we are,
episode.
healthier and happier.
Yes, 100%. We put out the first episode, and I kid you not, 2 days later, I got a call from my aunt that I hadn't talked to in 6 months, and she was like, we need to talk.
Oh boy. Oh
man.
Boy. Do you
content.
have them saved somewhere?
Honestly, I think I might have just wiped them as thoroughly as I could off the entire because honestly, I was like, I don't want my daughter to hear this. I don't want this to be out there forever. This forever. Needs to go.
Mike just put it on a hard drive, buried it, and burned it.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, I can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, but I can just flamethrower the entire counter and just make sure it disappears. So this is going to be a much more healthy, much more planned out show. We're going to be talking about a lot of movies, books, just media, things we enjoy. We got some crazy plans down the road for some more long-form scripted type stuff, but we're still working out the details, so we're not going to announce anything official until we're sure we're going to be able to make it happen.
Look, it's going to be way more fun than therapy. We can guarantee that much, all right?
And we don't have to pay for it.
Even though two unwell people therapizing each other is not the worst thing to listen to from an entertainment angle.
We opened up. If you wanted to know what was going on in our heart of hearts when we were at our low moments, you got it, man. If you wanted that, it was a top tier show. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Yes, I know you would listen to all of it, babe. She's like, this sounds great. She's in the background where is this? I'd love to see all of this.
There was a 2-hour-long 2-part episode on the complete dating history of Kyle and I from high school to present day.
Oh my God, I had forgotten. We reviewed every relationship and then explained what went wrong, what we should be accountable for, what they should be accountable for. I had an ex that listened to it and messaged me about it.
What did she say, by the way?
In the top 3, huh? I had a Taylor Swift song for every single one.
Yes, now that playlist does still exist. I made a playlist of it was Kyle's breakup, Taylor's version, and it was every single song that went with every single relationship. That's out there on Spotify.
It was a different time, babe. It was a different time. Oh my God, that's crazy! I completely forgot about it, and we were like, "It's a 2-parter."
Yeah, well, no, because we recorded it, and I was like, "Dude, I'm not going to be able to edit this in time. This is so long." we got done. I recorded that in Tennessee at my in-laws' house, and they were just like, he's just gone. I came downstairs, and they were in the middle of I don't know, the term is marshmallow fight. And I use that term because it's an exact descriptor of what was actually happening. Like, handfuls of marshmallows just being chucked all over the room. Like, it was a nice house, and they were just flinging marshmallows like snowballs. And I want to say it was New Year's Eve day that we recorded this. And, like, I gathered up a bunch of stray marshmallows, grabbed my wife at the time like a human shield, and just started flinging these marshmallows. Like, that was what I got. Like, I finished the podcast, come down to this, it all wraps up, and somebody who will remain unnamed that I never first saw this coming from walked up to me and goes, do you want a shot of some weed drink? And I was just like, this is not like it was like apparently somewhere between when I had last understood the family's interaction with substances and then something had changed, and I was just like, I don't know what to do in this scenario. I've never been offered drugs from in-laws before.
I don't think they make a manual for that one.
I declined to answer pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights.
Of course.
But it was a good night, I'll tell you that. And I got along with my mother-in-law really well for the next several hours.
First time ever.
So,
wow, good times, good times. So this is Long Distance Situationship 2.0. Still across the country, just Oklahoma to Michigan.
So, Dan, have you officially reconsidered? Because you look like you might have reconsidered.
Dude, no, I am all in now. No, I am all in now, dude. Strap me in. I got a second seatbelt now. I'm not leaving the seat.
So, Dan, tell us about the most traumatic event of your childhood. And then go through your whole dating history, all right?
Kyle, save that for the end. We do have a time allotted for from some revealing secrets. We will get to that. It is not completely brand new.
Patience.
But this week, the first topic that we've decided to cover is why you, the viewer, I can do that now. They know when I'm pointing. Why you should watch American Pie. We needed a break from sci-fi horror, and this was as far in the opposite direction as we could think to go. And I'm super stoked. I watched it last night. It was like my third or fourth time watching the film. What are your guys? Dan, what is your history with the film?
Body count.
This movie, like.
Quiet on set, please. Yep. Shh. Thank you. That's okay.
We're good.
I'm the Taylor Swift to your podcast. They're gonna be like, put her on.
That's actually really funny.
Anyway, so history with this movie. I watched this movie a really long time ago, probably younger than I should have, and I don't think I was at an age where I could really appreciate the humor that was in it. Because rewatching it, this movie's fucking hysterical.
It's so good.
Like there are some scenes in here that I'm watching, and I'm like, you know what? I totally get where you're coming from on that one. I totally feel the vibe of this scene. It captures the essence of being an awkward teenager so well. And you see that reflected in different characters, and each of them have different insecurities. Mm-hmm. And then I was talking to Mike before the pod about this. It's a weirdly wholesome movie. Like I don't look at American Pie and think that's like my wholesome movie of 1999. But dude, it's up there. It's up there. Kyle, what are your thoughts?
I'm with you that the first time I saw it, I definitely was I think I turned it off. Like I was way too young to even appreciate like what was going on. Like it was like prepubescent. And then now watching it again today, it's like, the levels of humor that they hit with the awkwardness and the cringe and the way they make you sit in the most uncomfortable, hilarious sexual situations, it's unmatched to anything that's coming out nowadays. Nobody pushes the boundary like that. And it's like from the opening scene where you get the visual of like Jim's penis in the sock, you know you are in for a ride. Like they sit the camera on that and make you look. And it's like, but they know what they're doing. They know it's weird and gross and uncomfortable, and they make the whole audience go, oh! Like, Kayleen sat down to watch it with me, and she came in kind of late, and it was like right after the scene where, it's the names that are going to get me. Where the one guy jizzes in the beer.
Kevin, yes, Kevin.
Kevin.
And then Stifler has it, and the girl has it, and
they're teasing you with it.
And every time.
The suspense is great.
Every time it was coming up, Kayleen is like, ah! Like, ah! And me too. I was like, oh my God. And but it's like, they make you sit in that humor. It's not a quick joke. It's this long, drawn out punchline where you're like, waiting for it. And then it hits for somebody drinks it. And it's so gross, but it taps into such a weird primal humor. That's hilarious. I loved rewatching it again. I thought I was going to be like, well, let me get through this. And I absolutely loved it. Plus, the soundtrack is great.
So good.
The soundtrack bangs out.
Yeah, phenomenal.
The second one's even better.
I mean, so Mike, like, you've seen it a lot. Like, tell us about your take on watching it again and where you stand in this movie, because you're a huge American Pie.
I am. I honestly watched it for the first time as a full-blown adult. I was probably 27, 28. And it was like 50 cents in a Salvation Army bucket, which is kind of hilarious that this movie was sitting in the Salvation Army. But that's a whole nother thing to unpack. And I was
really funny.
I was like, all right, yeah, we'll try this out. I watched it with my wife at the time. We lost it. We thought it was so good. And that's exactly the thing, is it's this movie. One of the things I was talking to Dan about was it's almost like when you go back and you watch the first Saw movie and you're like, why does this movie have the reputation that it has? It doesn't make any sense. And it's only when you get into the fifth and the sixth installment where it's become this overblown parody of its own reputation that you're like, oh, now I see why it has its reputation. That's kind of the same thing with this franchise. The first three movies are just consistently funnier and funnier, and they up the awkward factor. And even when they up the raunch factor, they do it in such a way. The last time I watched these movies, I watched them all through with Kyle on the same couch. And every single movie has the scene to that movie. And I remember in the first movie, that scene, Nadia's starting to undress in the bedroom, and I'm like, oh God, this is going to be so unbelievably uncomfortable. I did not think this through. I have to watch this scene with Kyle right next to me. This is going to be just unbearable. And it was awkward for 15 seconds. And within that 15-second time frame, we were both laughing so hard it stopped being awkward. And I think that is one of the most impressive things these movies do, is that you can watch these with another bro on the couch and it's not weird, despite it being so unbelievably raunchy at moments. And then it, like Dan was saying, it has just this moment right before they go to Stifler's party where Jim's like, all I've wanted to do is have sex. I haven't even had sex yet, and I already hate it. This doesn't matter. The message of this movie that's thought to be the raunch film that started all raunch films is that sex is not as important as we've made it to be in our culture, and that it's something that maybe we need to take a step back on and view as just a complementary piece to a relationship. And I love that. I think it's a great and really healthy way of viewing it. Albeit from a character that did some horrible things that were really funny in 1999 that are I'm pretty sure crimes. At least in modern day.
Slightly questionable behavior.
Yeah, I mean the apple pie was questionable. The broadcasting a naked minor to the every everyone in your school.
The entire school distribution list.
Yeah, that's a different thing. That dude should be in jail, but because it's a comedy, it's it's just something that happens.
Yeah, maybe it was a 90s thing, but I feel like people were way more okay with that than they were just that happened.
Well, come on, it was pre-internet. It was at the very beginning. And it is funny that when that scene starts, there was a point that I was I was sitting there with Kayleen, I was like, this is kind of weird. They're tricking this girl, and she's getting naked on but it so quickly devolves into such chaotic humor that it's it doesn't become about the girl anymore. It's really about Jim and them producing what is probably the most epically embarrassing thing to ever happen to a fictional high school student ever. That is twice. Come on, that's twice, so funny.
It's so good.
He prematurely ejaculates once, and you're like, "Oh man!" And
in front of the whole school.
And I lost it in front of the whole school. That is so. And I love that line that his girl ends up delivering at the end, where she's like, "I saw your video. I knew you were a sure thing."
Yeah, exactly.
This is why I said yes to the stage.
I am a sure thing. But I do want to touch on what Dan said. Where like, also all these characters are just they're very wholesome. They're very likable. Like at the end of the day, like yes, their primary motivation is sex, but as we just kind of addressed, like the story is not just about the sex. It's about them kind of like finding these other parts of themselves. Like I got to bring up the characters' names because I like that Oz like goes on this path into like almost finding like his feminine side and really liking something that is more than this. And like Jim's like shenanigans are great. Like I feel like all these characters are relatable in their own aspects. And I think that's what brings home the heart of this movie. Except for Finch, who is like the best of us.
Yeah. Well, and the thing with
Finch is so epically iconic.
So I think that the party scene, the first party at Stifler's house, I think really sets up each of the main guys. You got Jim, who has just literally zero confidence. And I think all of the girls are meant to kind of be like the flip side of the coin. Because you have Michelle, who's just like unbridled confidence. Like she's like perfectly secure in who she is and just goes for it. Yeah. Whereas Jim is so insecure that he has zero confidence. Then you have Kevin, who's got this like the flip side to Vicky's fear of intimacy, where he's like, yeah, I'm all down to have sex, but I'm terrified to say I love you. And it's not even like he's scared to say it because he's like all that afraid of intimacy. He just doesn't want to like say it and not mean it, which I thought was a really like deep take for, especially for this kind of movie.
Yeah.
And then Ozzy, right? He's unbridled confidence with no level of like sensitivity to like. I mean, it's not the best scene in the movie, but my favorite line might be "Suck Me Beautiful." That is such a hilariously uncomfortable moment. It comes completely out of left field because like. In the moment, it was the wrong thing to say, so like you're not ready for it as the viewer, and it's iconically bad. And then you got Finch, and Finch, you don't see him at the party. They see him the next day, and he goes, "I decided I would show up fashionably late, and by the time I showed up, there were no women at the party." Finch outsmarts himself consistently. He overthinks to a level that like it almost works and then becomes detrimental, which we then see play out again in his plan towards the pact. And yeah, I love it. I think the party perfectly encapsulates each of the characters, and then it even does Stifler a great job, where it's like, yeah, Stifler is an ass. He's just the worst person, but he's deeply honest to the guys, at least. Nice. You know. Like he's not trying to hide anything. He's perfectly secure in who he is, but unfortunately, who he is a colossal jackass.
Yes, and there's a certain like bro mentality that he carries, where you can understand. Like we all kind of know that guy who's a total asshole, but you know he loves you, and like and he's honest about it. Like he will always give you shit and he'll always rag on you, but like I feel like Stifler kind of has their backs at the end of the day. Like he always does. He does love the guys, and that brings home the heart in his character.
And one character that's not really part of the main friend group, but I think is worth touching on in this context is Sherman.
Yeah,
the Shermanator.
Oh, the Shermanator.
Yeah. Huge character. Because like you go through this entire movie thinking that he went to that party and he scored. Then you have it completely come off the lid at prom. Like that's another big moment. It's like that's probably like the worst way people could find out. And then he pisses himself. And I'm like, I just felt bad for the guy at that point. But I'm like, maybe you shouldn't embellish like that. But
good lesson there. Good lesson there.
It's a good lesson there. Like there's plenty of guys who would probably do the same thing in his situation, except for maybe piss himself. But I still think he was a good character, and he does come back later on too, right?
Oh yeah, he's a reoccurring character. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. He gets his. I love seeing John Cho as well as such a baby.
Right.
Mm-hmm. John Cho, who goes on to do Star Trek and the live-action Cowboy Bebop and Harold and Kumar. He shows up for like a split second and makes out with the picture of Stifler's mom.
Milf.
He's like, Milf. That's hilarious. I do also got to throw out that The soundtrack bangs out.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah.
soundtrack is great. In modern day, like we love those '90s throwbacks right now, and there's just like iconic songs throughout this whole movie.
Is this the movie that coined the term MILF?
No, that was what I was gonna say. I immediately started researching that last night, and the term did exist prior, but this movie is credited with popularizing it in the mainstream.
Okay.
No way.
Yeah,
I never would have thought.
That's so funny because like he spells it out, and I was like, "Come on, we know what a MILF is,
right. Yeah, not in
He's like,
1999. We
MILF.
didn't.
I know that's
Yeah.
actually wild that this is what made it mainstream.
Yeah,
You kind of have to look back for a second and think. I'm like, okay, wait, this came out like almost 30 years ago. Like, what was the landscape back then for this kind of thing? That's what made me think. I'm like, I don't know if this actually existed before this, but now we know.
yeah.
Now
Crazy
we know.
piece of cultural context.
Yeah. And then kind of segueing back into your last point, I just wanted to talk about the music, dude. Like, the music is so good in this movie. There wasn't a single bad track, I don't think.
No, not one.
Like, I had a good time every time there was music. Especially the last one, I think was my favorite.
Do 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 do. Yes, dude. The movie was over, and Kaylee and I were full belting that song in the house.
Yeah. I could have gotten up and busted a move after that one. I'm like, dude, like, this is the best night ever. All I was missing was a bag of popcorn. Like,
Right. Well, and another thing that I really love is during the webcam sequence, Jim runs from his house to what I believe to be Kevin's house. Might be Isaac's house. He runs to one of his buddies' houses, and they play the song as he's running.
Uh-huh.
And then it cuts to the webcam sequence, and they're like, "Jim, get in there. Say, do you need a hand?" Which, incidentally, great line. And then when
Great
he
line.
runs
Great
back,
line. That is the right thing to say.
when he runs back, they play the second verse of the song, and it's like it was so well done because it's like, oh, this is the song that plays when he runs back and forth, and like it was just a nice little editing touch that I really appreciated.
I do want to throw a shout out to as my filmmaker brain was watching this. I really loved they had some really well played out tracking shots where the camera would just like follow Stifler through his party or something, and like you get to see all the faces of the characters, like the main characters and the side characters, all in one big shot that like goes through the whole house and catches people, and you get to like really see who Stifler is by how he interacts with everybody that he bumps into at the party. And so like cinematically, obviously it's not like a masterpiece or anything, but they definitely put some effort into some really like good, well thought out camera shots that just had great movement, and they just would let the camera ride for a long time sometimes, and I loved that.
And the efficiency of the filmmaking was fantastic too. I don't think there's a wasted second in this movie. Like every scene is either setting up, paying off, or is just like an iconically hilarious bit that's just kind of there to be funny, or doing one or more of those things at the same time, you know? Like the scene where, so, I mean, for me, obviously the pie scene is just like, that's an iconic scene that needs to be discussed. But we'll table that for now. Get it, table. Anyway, we'll the scene where Finch gets like where Stifler feeds him the laxative, which also is set up because they mentioned his mochaccino just like in passing multiple times. Everything is just set up so well, and like Finch has this moment where he just ends up unloading in the girl's bathroom. And you see this like culmination of like, oh, we've come full circle on Finch outsmarting himself, but it's also just hysterically funny. It's been well set up. Like they nailed every single shot, was just perfect. I don't think they left anything on the cutting room floor that didn't need to be there, or they left anything in the movie that should have been on the cutting room floor. Like I thought it was a masterpiece of just every shot works for what it's supposed to do. Nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah, if you were to use the term Chekhov's gun, it's like an armory. This
Yes.
Well done.
Chekhov's armory.
Well
That's
done.
Hysterical.
They just
So, why do you guys think that we can't get comedy that is this like purely raunch and purely funny and just like well played out nowadays? Why does it feel like, I don't know, because I was watching this and I was like, we just don't get this today, and I don't know if it's like if studios are just too afraid of being canceled, if they're too afraid of taking big risks that could rub people off the wrong way, or like, yeah, if it's a cancel culture thing, or if it's a lack of, I guess, creativity. I guess I'm just trying to figure out like why we don't have any comedies that really meet this level of everything you're talking about, Mike. You're really even like, Mike, you're making me so aware of the geniusness in the writing, like in them bringing everything full circle, like and everything. But why do you think we can't have comedies that are this funny nowadays?
Well, so I've watched a lot of YouTube videos theorizing about this. I've just encountered them. I've never once sought these out, but they find me. And there's a couple of interesting factors. One is that comedies are a very volatile earner in the market. They rarely make as much as a lot of other genres, and they bomb with more regularity than other genres. So it's high risk, low reward for the most part. Every now and then you strike gold and you hit something like American Pie, but far more often a comedy is going to lose the studio money. And so ultimately when you have less at bats, you're going to have a lower overall hit ratio. Not even ratio, just you're going to hit less. So there's that. I do think there's the fear in the cancel culture. Or at least the fear of the cancel culture. Whether or not cancel culture is the reason, I think people are definitely cautious when doing comedy like this. And I think it needs to get screamed, right? Like, I think somebody needs to do for comedy what Wes Craven did with Scream for horror. And Kyle, you and me could be those people. I'm just saying.
Well, yeah, elaborate on that.
It is right there.
I think we need a movie about a group of kids who stumble on, whether it be American Pie or something fictional for the story, but they stumble on this type of humor from the turn of the millennia, and they and so it becomes a new version of the raunch comedy for this era that looks back on the old era and identifies the tropes verbally to the audience and also like plays it out. So just like Scream was like, these are the rules of horror. It's like, hey, these are the rules of raunch comedy, and we're gonna say them while making a raunch comedy.
Especially if you have 4 kids that are like, we're going to make a pact just like in American Pie.
Right.
And you get to play on the meta of like, well, here's what worked in the movie. This is what you got to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it could be
I
fun.
love it.
I think it should be in a way consent forward world, way in the
Of course.
future.
Well, yeah.
Where it's like, could I touch you, please?
You gotta have that character that's like, oh, yes, yeah.
Well, that was the beautiful thing is that
Establish our safe word.
Go on.
that was like the beautiful thing about Scream is that it was identifying a lot of the problems, and the phone is like a regular part of that movie, and so like they're bringing in the modern technology relative to when the movie was released. So to bring in the modern problems of that's the other thing too, is like it's just like you said, like at the turn of the millennia it was like, oh yeah, we're not super used to the internet. It doesn't seem like this ridiculous horrible crime to broadcast this minor, probably, maybe for the sake of myself, I'm gonna assume she was 18. It makes me feel better, but even so you're still broadcasting somebody to the entire high school without their consent. That's not okay, right? But like at the time we were less worried about making a joke about that. Like it's just the things you could joke about were just a little different at the time, and so there are certain things where it's like I wouldn't feel good to shoot that scene now. I'd be like, this isn't okay.
Yeah, I agree with the 2 points that you just talked about, like with the fact that the landscape's kind of changing, people are afraid to get canceled, but to expand on the landscape changing, I think humor itself has changed a lot in the last 25 years, where like deadpan, ironic, and dry humor is what's really popular right now, and it's less about raunchy or practical comedy. Like I also look at movies like The Naked Gun, which is just like plainly stupid, and that's my favorite kind of humor. But if I show that to literally anybody else in our age group or even a little younger, they're like, "What the heck am I looking at?" It's like,
Wow.
It doesn't land the same these days. It doesn't. So I think it's hard to make a movie like American Pie these days and actually have it be successful, unless you're marketing directly to the people who watched it in the first place.
That's fair.
It's a narrow audience, but. Which got
You're right. I feel like they do go for the deadpan thing, or they'll go for like slapstick, but it's almost like the wrong kind of slapstick. Like sometimes you see movies that are almost too stupid, and they're stupid, but they're almost playing it safe, and so it's not that.
You gotta find
funny.
a balance. Yeah,
you gotta find a balance, but you also like this movie pushes the raunch that makes you uncomfortable. It addresses sex face first in a way that most like modern cinema isn't really doing. Like they isn't really challenging the audience to just like sit in these awkward scenarios. And I think you're right. And look, and you actually nailed it where you said like with if this exact movie was released today, there'd be so much backlash for like the webcam scene just to begin with. Like, who knows what else people would get offended by? But there'd be all these articles that are like, American Pie does a movie about unconsensual online videoing of a girl like naked. Like, you could just see like the reception would totally like shoot something like this down.
Well, something like this would have to be at least college age.
Of course, it would have to be college age as well nowadays.
Yeah.
You'd have to make sure everybody is over 18. That being said, Mike, I love this idea. We should get to cooking on this and do a college age story. This would be fun. I like this a lot.
Yeah, I want this. I want this type of movie back in the mainstream so bad, but it is a tricky thing to do.
And I think we're hungry for good comedy, man. We're really hungry for good comedy, like audiences are, and somebody needs to start taking chances without being stupid about it to get people to laugh. So I want to put the ball in your guys' court and say, kind of like. To put a stamp on this thing, what do you rate this movie out of 10? And why do you think modern audiences should watch American Pie?
So the only reason I wouldn't give this a 10 out of 10 is because I've seen later films and I know that it somehow it gets even better, right? Like, it's unfair. If I was to rank this movie in a vacuum, I'd give it a 10. But the best I can do is like an 8.5 because it only gets better from here. So, one, I think you should watch this movie because all on its own, it is just perfect. It's so good. But what it does is it makes you laugh in a way that, just like you said, we don't get anymore. And it lets you let loose and have a little bit of fun in a way that just we're scared to do, but that isn't necessarily webcam scene excluded all that bad. It's human nature. It relates in a way that there is a character that you will be able to relate to, and it's next level. The acting nobody's winning an Oscar, but they nail what they're meant to do. We haven't even discussed Eugene Levy, Jim's dad, who is just every
What's his name, by the way?
scene he's in. Jim's dad, the best I know. Every scene he's in, he just steals the show. He is so hysterically funny. You will laugh harder than you have laughed possibly in your life, and if not, then in a long time. And it does it in a way that you get done and you go, that was actually really touching, and I appreciate the message this movie had and the story they had to tell. It's a masterpiece.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of my points are going to echo exactly the same as Mike. I haven't seen the newer ones recently enough to be able to form like a forward-looking opinion, so I'm just going to rate it on its own. I'm going to say it's a 9, just because it is so relatable. Even though I didn't necessarily grow up in the 90s, I'm more of a 2000s kid.
Well, it's 1999.
I feel like it's pretty freaking close.
Yeah.
But either way, I feel like these experiences are universal to pretty much any decade, and I can look at this and be like, oh wow, like I kind of went through that, and then also at the same time I can look at it and appreciate it and be like, wow, it could have been so much worse. Especially like speaking of Eugene Levy, one of my favorite scenes of that movie is when he goes to Jim's room and he goes back into the sex talk because he feels like he has to do it. And he shows up with a pile of magazines. He's like, and this one's Hustler, and if you open to the centerfold, he's got like a full breakdown of how the magazine works. And I'm like, mine was not that awkward. Yeah, he's got his own personal review on it and everything. It was crazy. And I'm like, you know what? Mine was not that awkward. I'm really glad it wasn't. So it could have been so much worse. But yeah, overall, like this movie was just such a good time, and I was never bored. Honestly, I really enjoyed it. What do you think, Kyle?
Honestly, you guys kind of hit on all the main points. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. And I'm just going to say to anybody watching right now, it's worth revisiting because I feel like nobody has really watched this movie in the past 10 years. Most people, at least, right? Came out, over 30 years ago?
Almost.
About 30 years ago now?
26.
25.
That's crazy. 26.
Yeah,
okay. Nobody's watched this movie recently. So to a modern audience, because we're not getting anything like this, it's worth it to go back because this movie will shock you. It will make you laugh. You will it almost like reawakens your understanding of what a raunch comedy is all about. And because we just don't get them nowadays. And so I think modern audiences have forgotten how good this movie is, and they should go check it out because it's gonna hit you inside somewhere. As Dan was saying, whether if you're gonna relate to the awkward stuff, you're gonna relate to the heartfelt stuff, and you're gonna laugh your ass off. So I think it's absolutely worth revisiting, no matter who you are.
Ooh, baby, I am excited to announce to y'all that this episode of Long Distance Situationship is brought to you in part by our partnership with Fireball. That's right, you all know Fireball. It's the third level evocation with a 150-foot range dealing, count 'em, 8d6 of damage. You want even more spicy goodness? Try casting Fireball from a higher level for an additional 1d6 damage per level cast. That's right, Fireball. It's where the magic happens. Please cast responsibly. Welcome back to Long Distance Situationship. What we got coming at you next is something I am extremely excited about. It is a segment we call Hot Seat. We are bringing on Kayleen, and she's going to ask each of us progressively more uncomfortable questions, and we're going to see who caves first.
Here we go. Okay, we'll start with an easy one that will just explain your personalities a little bit. Which character do you most identify with?
Can I say Eugene Levy? I'm just kidding.
Or like high school you.
Yeah,
you know?
of course. Who was high school me?
Who was high school you?
Man.
I
I feel like in high school, it's tricky because I feel like they're slightly dilated, and I feel like most people are probably a blend. So if I had to pick
you could
one,
be like this person's sun, this person rising, this person moon.
there we go.
Like,
So yeah, I'd say I'm a Kevin Sun, Ozzy Rising for sure.
Forget horoscopes. This is how you do it.
All right, I'm gonna be an Oz Sun, Jim Rising.
Us?
I definitely had some Jim in me there. High school me.
Yeah, I feel like everyone had some level
Women,
of Jim.
what am I saying?
Jim's the one that does the dance, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. I love that.
No.
I bet you did.
I get that every morning. So. Sorry, ladies watching. I'm the one that gets that. Maybe I'll broadcast it to the world though someday.
That's right. Set up the internet cams.
Save it for the Patreon, folks.
Exactly. We got to make some money.
Yes, OnlyFans.
We can
For
recruit
Hot
that whole
Kyle.
scene.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Anyway,
no.
Dan?
No, high school me has got to be Jim 100%. Like, I was
Nice.
a super quiet dude who hung out in the corner in high school and didn't talk to anybody. I never had these peacock feathers that I have now, so it's like... So, yeah.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. We've all grown since then. This
Yeah.
movie is for us because we understand.
Yeah.
Really blossomed. I'm proud of you all.
It's growth.
Okay, great. Next question. I'm gonna ask you a question that Kyle likes asking people, but with a twist. What do you think your hottest quality is, and what makes you the most fuckable?
That is a twist on that question. I was like, I know what's oh no,
That's
I don't.
hilarious.
Oh dear.
He normally asks, "What do you love about yourself?"
Yeah.
But I'm asking, "What do you think makes you fuckable?"
Oh goodness.
I think when I'm in my my flow state of confidence and just running around, being me, talking to everybody in the room, like I think there's a certain fearlessness that I can just like embody, and it's that confidence that makes me the most fuckable.
Lovely. Good answer.
Yeah, I think the flow state thing's a really great point because when I'm at my best, I think I have a way with words that can just like make people comfortable, make you laugh, bring people in. When I'm not at my best, I still think I have a way with words, and it fails to bring people in miserably. So finding that balance is kind of tricky. But yeah, I'd say it's my wordsmith ability.
Yeah, I guess for me, like it really shines through more in bigger like group settings. But when there's like high energy, I lean into the high energy like really hard, and I get louder. I just try to find jokes where I see them. It's like seeing passing lanes in soccer. I'm like, there's a joke, there's a joke, there's a joke, there's a
Nice.
joke. Half of those jokes suck, but I'm still gonna make them anyway. So,
Yes.
so I think that's what I'd go for. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna get juicier now. Okay.
All right.
How old were you? Oh God, what?
No, go
Dad's
like
the
eat-
like dad's be like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, boys. So tell me, how old were you when you lost your virginity? And was it for love, curiosity, ego, pride? What was the reason? Did you feel like you had to, or was it because you were in love, or did you save yourself? Tell me everything. But mostly it's when did you lose your virginity and
why?
and kind of why.
Why? Wait, why?
Okay, I was 17. It was first girlfriend. I wouldn't say it was for love, but I was like, we've been dating 6 months. Like, this is the time. Yeah, this is the time. Yeah, it was like 10 seconds. It was not great.
And not much has changed.
Oh, you got me. We're done with the podcast. Come on, you.
Just kidding.
Dead and
This is
buried.
This is our normal banter. Trust me.
We're doing 2 condoms this time. The movie told me that it desensitizes. Let's go.
Sorry, we have to cut this short. Just kidding. You've lasted longer on this podcast than you.
Okay.
Okay.
This is the last time Kayleen hosts. I think we could use other guest stars next time. That's about me. Anyway.
Mike's wife has to come next.
I'm trying to do the math in I was either 19 or 20. And you listed a lot of things. For love, it was not. I can say that with confidence. I don't want to say it was as much of a like, let's get this over with, as much as a like, I'm sick of waiting. Let's do this. And did.
And you did it.
How
long
much of
did
this?
it last?
I respectable for all things considered. I didn't like set a stopwatch or anything, but like we got done, and I was like, okay, that could have been worse.
The ideal thought you want after your first time. Nice.
Switch.
Did you just swoosh?
Yeah, good job. All right, Dan, let's go. Let's hear it.
All right.
Spill the beans.
All right. I was also 17 in high school. It was my first serious girlfriend. At the time, I was pretty much going to her house like every single day. My parents didn't see me like at all. so yeah, like just hanging out in the room, and it eventually just happened. It just was like as it always does. So yeah, nothing spectacularly story there, I think, but I do remember getting in the car after that day, and I'm like, wow. That's what that's like.
You kept your cool till the car ride home.
That was cool. Like, thanks so much. See you tomorrow. And it's like, holy shit, I did it. Okay, great.
All right.
You all
Good.
have moved forward to the next round.
Yep.
Next question. Where is the worst place you've ever gotten a boner? Or like the worst thing you've ever been turned on by that you're like, oh, fuck.
Oh,
Why
those
am
are
I
two
turned
different
on by this?
questions.
Yeah, they are.
Well, I mean, if you don't remember one,
Okay.
you could use the other. There you go.
Okay. I used to have a big corporate job. I was in event production, and we were in a very serious meeting leading up to it was like Detroit Auto Show or something. I'm not the main guy in the room. There's like fucking 20 people in this room, and I'm like the main producers, and they brought in everybody, and we're going over the whole plan. And I'm sitting there like, yeah, my boss is here. She's taking all the fucking notes. Like, I know what we're doing. Like, and like we're going over everything. I'm bored out of my mind. I'm texting my girlfriend at the time,
who like doesn't exist anymore. She doesn't.
And we got into like getting spicy with the texts. We were getting real spicy with it. And tell you what, I am like full 10 out of 10 down there, like sheesh. And I'm like locked in sending texts, and somebody goes, Kyle, can you go grab that thing over there? Like someone just tells me to I had to like cross the room to get something. And I look up and like I know I went pale, and I am like you guys know if you have a boner in your pants, you need to like adjust. But I have 19 other professionals turning and looking at me and waiting for me to fucking like get up, and I am like I literally had to I had to go. It's a tight room. I had to clear it. I had to go like inches from all these fucking people. I literally remember being like, this is God's punishment for me, like sexting in a work meeting. Like this is like the lesson to never do this shit again. Cause I sat down, my boss was like, you okay? And I was like, yeah, why? And she's like, you look really sick. And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. It was bad. Whew.
All right, that was a hard one to top.
This is so.
Go ahead.
Sweaty thinking about it.
This is a hard one because I know I've had these moments, but none of them were like that. First of all, there have definitely been moments where it's like, oh crap, I have to move like visibly, but like, I've just always managed to either find a way or find enough of a way that everyone in the room can be like, I didn't see nothing, like, because it's awkward for everybody. So like, I don't want to. I'm trying not to abstain from the question, but I genuinely.
Okay, then instead, you can tell me what is the weirdest thing that turns you on.
And so that's also. I'm an incredibly to my knowledge, I think I'm a relatively normal person in that regard, and so like.
Then tell me something that you're like, God damn, I love this thing, and like, who knows if that's weird or not.
That's the thing. I genuinely
I love when someone tickles my feet or something.
Nope,
that's
weird. I don't like that.
I love like a feather down my spine.
Never tried it. I would.
You like being slapped or
Never
slapping or eye contact or what do you want?
I'm sorry, is eye contact weird?
So for some people.
Huh. Who knew?
Stop talking about us,
Not
okay?
for me. I love eye contact. I'm an actor.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'll tell you what. One time, there was, I tried the slapping thing, and I don't need to do it again, and I don't think in general the average person is looking to be slapped. I wouldn't say no.
You have to have above average people for that.
Yeah. Like I'd be like, if you were like, hey, would you mind? I'd be like, with pleasure. But yeah, sorry, I'm relatively vanilla and I'm pretty sneaky. So I've also been smart enough not to sext in a conference room full of executives.
Yeah. Sounds like we have someone rational here on the team. Great. Dan, how about you? Do you have anything that's standing out in your mind or pitching a tent there in your brain?
It's a boner story, yeah. Pitching a tent in your brain. It's hilarious.
The only really one that comes to mind is one time, I don't remember how old I was, somewhere in my teens. It was a public pool, and I'm in the pool, and I'm at that point, I'm like, well, I can't get out. I can't get out. And then at that point, everybody starts leaving that I'm with, and I'm like, well, what do I do? So I'm just kind of like, hey, guys, I'll meet you back where we're going. I'm just going to hang out and enjoy the water for, 15 more minutes. It's like...
Oh, no.
Oh, I'm going to enjoy the water for a bit. Yeah. That's so funny.
Yeah, and also, incidentally, I'm also, facing the wall in case there's somebody underneath, and I'm literally just holding onto the wall. I'm like, okay... It's been 10 minutes.
Oh my gosh, I don't miss being a teenager, dude.
Not at all. Not at all. What a relief.
I really think that you all are sharers and you like telling these stories, so I don't think I'm going to get any of you out. But the final thing I will ask is if you had to choose between having a large dildo up your ass
I'm leaning towards
Or-
the other one.
or fucking your best friend's mom,
Oh my god.
which one would you do? And one, which one would you
You
choose?
just made this
Well,
up on the spot.
I would
Yeah.
have
Just
to
make us squirt.
go
I had to do a
with-
final question.
I would have
and
to.
We moved our
That's
dinner reservation.
not even a question. I would have to go with the first one because I don't mess with coworkers.
There's
Oh my god, he's talking about.
You wouldn't fuck Kyle's mom?
Where's the dance mom?
coworkers.
Whose mom is it?
I don't work with him.
Motherfucker. Hey, good for him though. He chose the right thing.
Motherfuck, not.
Chose the right thing. Yeah.
Follow the
Not
code.
a motherfucker.
Follow the
Not a
code.
motherfucker.
No. No.
All right, Dan?
No, I'm taking number one, dude. That's no. My best friend's mom is 65. I'm not doing that. I'm
So?
sorry.
Like, you wouldn't get her pregnant.
How is that any better?
All right, Kyle.
I gotta take the dildo. It's just too weird. It's too. I can't. Look, I'm just gonna be honest. I'm sorry. I just gotta do it. I ain't gonna like it though.
I think we just got our first.
None of you said.
I'm taking the dildo. I ain't gonna like it.
Well, and you all still answered that question, even though it made you squirm.
It
So
was
I really
uncomfortable.
don't know.
I'm not
if
gonna
there
lie
are
to you.
People who will.
I don't know. I would push back on your statement that we like answering these questions. I would more so present to you the idea that I am one of the most competitive people you're ever going to meet.
We never back
So
down.
true. So true. None of us will back down. That's what it is. We're all hungry for the win. Wow. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
It was great.
I very much enjoyed. I enjoyed that.
That was fun. That was really fun, actually.
We have to go to dinner soon.
Okay. Woo, anybody else sweating? That was intense.
All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, this first episode of the all-new Long Distance Situationship. I'm Mike, that's Dan, that's Kyle, that's Kayleen, and if you enjoyed the show, give us a like, give us a subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Everybody's gonna run the same way. Falling up to see through strange days. Change is gonna come my way.
That was fun.